Guys, this is Chris from DoraHacks. Welcome to the first ETHVietnam Finalist project demo sessions hosted by DoraHacks. It is a great pleasure for DoraHacks to support ETHVietnam for the very first time. In this hackathon, we simply divided the hackathon into two tracks only, which are existing projects track and new ideas track, and also with wide range of the bounties provided by leading projects in the industries. In the end, we have received more than hundreds of project submissions, and finally, we verified 80 projects as the final submission. And today, we are very happy to have 3 projects with us. They are Atlas, Lancer, and tinyAcceleratedEVM. So without further ado, let's welcome Atlas as the first presenter today. And before we start, please keep in mind that each team will have no more than 15 minutes for presentation, including Q&A part. So don't make it too long and complicated. Also, for all the audience, if you have any questions during the session, we are on live on YouTube. So feel free to ask any questions in our YouTube chat room. Yeah, Atlas team, feel free to start when ready.
Okay. So, let me just quickly share what I got here. Okay, first I'm gonna. So, the DAO are only up from here, and if we go a little bit closer, we can see that with one project comes a lot of pages, and if we are going further, we see that there's many projects, many DAOs with a lot of different pages and information there. So and it's getting harder and harder to follow everything what you want to follow, because everyone have their own social media and own sources where they share information, and it's getting bigger and bigger, just like galactic. So what we built, called Atlas, it's kind of like a Zapier experience for DAOs, or we called it like a standardized UI UX for DAO discovery, DAO analysis, and DAO participation. So what we included into our project is there will be a demo a little bit later. So first, we made for every DAO a special page. It looks like a combination of favorite social media like Twitter and a bit of others. And you can see all the most important information about the DAO, like how much it match with you, how often voting happens, for example, how many members are there, and some additional information how you can join and what's happening. And also we are aiming like to add AI curated suggestions and TLDR. So basically AI will help you to understand if this particular DAO is combined with your interests. Also, one of the features we wanted to include is to make delegates and delegation a bit more user-friendly and a bit easier, because for now, all you can see is the wallet address and how many tokens do they have, for example. So it does not like tell you a story about the person, or what is their personal opinions and stuff. So what we wanted to include is a list of active delegates that shows how much you match with the person based on your NFTs, events that you attended, some information that out there. And also we wanted further integrate some DAO aggregator and skills aggregator as well. So everything will be on one page. Of course, we are not forgetting about users. So every user will have its own page, like your Twitter account, where you can see like some information about you, any particular activities that you attended, and that you are, for example, open to be a delegate. And also the most important part is this diagram that you can see. It's like soulbound NFT that basically shows your skills within specific areas. So here we have the areas of fun, development, art, organization, and influence. So basically, it will be a Pokemon-like profile scores that will show how much you participated in certain areas based on NFTs or other information that's already there. So, for example, for dev, we can take some Clearverse, skill badges, layer 2 certification badges, any other soulbound NFTs. What we want to do here is there is a lot of skill projects that allows you to get some NFTs if you get through some tests and stuff. So we want to aggregate all of this information into one specific NFT that will be soulbound and that can be easily verifiable on chain, and that shows all your activity in one picture, so it's easier to understand. So Atlas exists to deliver an easier and standardized DAO user experience with features that provide richer, more meaningful, and verifiable data. And here I will stop sharing for a bit, and now I want to show you our demo. It's a demo that's built on in Figma. Because our team is specifically product managers. For some reason, it was completely without tech support. So here you can see the profile of DAO. There is a feed, and you can see, for example, how you can join some socials, in particular research. The example is made on the BitDAO, and here you can see members, you can see some additional information that you need to know, some new delegates, and some active community members, for example. Also, this whole interface will include governance process, token info, delegation, everything you need to know about the DAO and how it works. And we want to include also some discussion part, because it's important to have everything there, not to go to specific forums of every project. Better to have it on one page. And also, we are going to have a feed of recent votings. And all of these texts are summarized with AI. So here you see basically a TLDR of the proposal. So you don't need to read all the text straight away. You can just get the summary of it. And here you can check, for example, the governance process. And let's see how the profile of the person looks. It's a bit easier, but I think it will be getting fuller with more feedback and more features. So here you will see some particular soulbound token of a person. Everyone will have its own, for example, of course. And then you will be able to click on this part and see like the proofs where it comes from. For now, it's not yet done. So, and also you will be able to see what's the most active this person is in which DAOs, and also some kind of reputation part, for example, based on NFTs they have in their wallets, because right now everyone has it. So here is this is it basically. our project. And thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, happy to answer.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. It looks definitely amazing. I like the Pokemon style profile for a person. A question from me is that so like what type of the biggest problem you think that the Atlas is trying to solve or trying to improve?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So for us, the biggest problems was that information are everywhere. Basically, it's like it's hard to find everything because you need to search every particular project on, like, go to the website, go to the documentation, go to forum, go to discourse, go to Discord. So it's kind of like a lot. So for us, first we wanted to aggregate all of that into one page so the person can see everything straight away, like, and not be overwhelmed with the amount of pages they need to actually visit. And the second part is making delegation and user profiles a bit more personal, because for now it's like a bit like robotic style, because all you can see is wallets and tokens they have, but like nothing about the person, their opinions, or basically their views. So how can you delegate to someone if you don't know, like, if this account aligns with your vision or not? So this is how we wanted to also solve this part with our soulbound NFT.
Got it. Yeah, that's definitely a very great idea. Another question is, would love to know a bit more about like your team background.
So our team is kind of, as I said before, it's product part team, and me, I'm full in Web3 since 2019. I've been mostly working right now on an app called Holdim. It's also a DAO aggregator. This is where the idea comes from because it's close to what I do in my like day-to-day life. So another team member is Jason. He is actually organizing ETH Malaysia. So hope to see you there. And yeah, he's been a long-term community member. He's been teaching about Ethereum, DAOs, and Web3 space since I think 2017, if I'm not mistaken. And the last team member is Michael. He is kind of new to space, so we got a fresh view on the everything, because it's always I think encouraged to uh, to refresh your vision. So he's coming from a psychological background, so he has actually a degree in psychology, and he's currently organizing startups incubators. So he's like a business side developer. So that's our team.
Got it. Yeah, very cool. Thank you. Thank you very much for this very
Thank
detailed
you.
introduction. Yeah,
Thank you.
feel free to start when you're ready.
Yep, absolutely. So
You can click the present button at the bottom to share the screen.
yeah, perfect. All right. I hope everyone can see my screen.
Yep.
Perfect. All right, let me get started. So my name is Ato. I'm the president of the Oxford Blockchain Society. I'm also early member of HomeDAO, and yeah, also part of BitDAO and EdgeDAO. And let me present to you tinyAcceleratedEVM. So here's the problem that I'm solving. Smart contract security is a concern in all facets of Web3, including Web3 gaming. You know, smart contracts are often the target of large hacks since they can lock up tokens. And security tools and frameworks that can test potential exploits in these smart contracts are slow but not scalable. The pre-existing ones are like Slither, Mithril, Satora, all of these other ones. And in general, smart contract audits can take up to 3 to 4 months, which can really hinder business development cycles. And so the solution I bring is tinyAcceleratedEVM, which is an EVM simulator designed to be parallelizable across accelerated hardware like GPUs or TPUs, implemented with very hacky, vectorized or matrix operations to simulate the EVM. So the idea is that the tinyAcceleratedEVM sits on accelerated hardware like TPUs or GPUs. It takes in a smart contract bytecode. It takes in the input data to interact with that smart contract, and then it returns you the logs or return values upon executing that smart contract with the particular input data, simulating a message call. So basically, it can simulate the EVM. So why is this useful? Why should you care? Well, one of the ways in which this tool could be used is by security audit firms, where you have a smart contract, the security audit firm generates a bunch of potential inputs that can exploit a bug in the code and test this on accelerated hardware, on tinyAcceleratedEVM, EVM, and get the return values or the logs using fuzzing tools like Echidna, for example. And you can run these tests at scale that wasn't possible before. Another way that this tool could be used is for AI model training, where you feed it in a smart contract, the accelerated hardware. Inside of the accelerated hardware, you have the tinyAcceleratedEVM, which acts as the simulation environment. It returns logs or return values, and you feed this into the AI, and the AI can sort of learn better ways of detecting bugs inside of the contract. And you create this training feedback loop that allows the AI to learn what is the optimal sequence of moves such that it can discover a bug, or the opposite, which is how can it repair bugs. So let me give you a basic example on the tinyAcceleratedEVM. So this is an example bytecode, which just pushes 2 onto the stack, then 5, then 4, and then adds them together, and all of that kind of stuff. So let me just quickly go on tinyAcceleratedEVM, and then Python 3. No. Sorry. Oh yeah, EVM sim demo.py. Yep. So this is the kind of demo. My laptop currently doesn't have a GPU or a TPU, but JAX, which is a program I wrote it in the background, essentially paralyzes it if there is a CUDA or a TPU device detected on your hardware. And then, so yeah, like this, here you can see the program counter and the instruction decoded. So it pushes 2 onto the stack. So this is like the visualization of the stack. You push 5, and then you can see 5 is at the top, 4 is at the top. Oh yeah, this is a slightly different instruction set to the one I showed you on the slides. Add, so it adds the top 2 elements of the stack, and then it pushes 9, multiply them, so 9 times 9 is 81, modulo, so take 81 modulo 2, and so on. So that's just a very basic demo of the tinyAcceleratedEVM working. And you can use evm.code/playground to sort of see a point of comparison EVM execution. And this is sort of how I tested for the equivalence of the two. In the future, you'd be able to test the equivalence through formal verification methods, and also going from Solidity bytecode or Viper code compiled to bytecode through Sulk. And then, yeah, you would test and compare the EVM executions. Just a brief details for the implementation. This was written using the Python JAX framework. So JAX is a framework designed by Google, designed for writing GPU or TPU parallelizable code, which is the original intent for it was designed for machine learning. And in my implementation, I used the JAX Gymnect interface, which is like a very standard interface for simulation environments. And that provides a clean interface implementation and it can be easily plug and play for any finite state transition machine setup that can be used by other developers. And yeah, in the implementation, we simulate the EVM stack, memory, and storage operations with JAX-based memory operations. So just to briefly roll it back and explain what I actually implemented, here's the Ethereum yellow paper in a nutshell. I took it from a Stack Overflow post, and essentially, this is sort of what happens in a Ethereum node, and specifically, I focused on implementing the execution cycle where you process a transaction by updating the mutable machine state and looking at the world state. So the world state is like, how much ETH does one person own, whereas machine state is like, how much gas is there available to execute the stuff. I won't go into the details, but this is what I implemented. A bit of why this works. JAX has a particular programming style where, for example, you can't have if statements or for loops, which is what sort of allows you to, and everything is written in a functional programming way, which is what allows just-in-time optimization to essentially, optimize the code for GPU parallelization so that it can run things in parallel. And yeah, just briefly on commercial applications and why you should care. This can create hyper-optimized implementations of this GPU or TPU, and it can offer enterprise features for the EVM simulator, for example, security testing at scale and backtesting, and machine learning model training infrastructure on server farms, which is also what I would probably work on. So the next steps is to add the full instruction set to tinyAcceleratedEVM, all 255 of them. Quite a lot of them are duplicates, so it shouldn't be that hard. I think I've gone around 100 so far. And yeah, then optimize with JIT, which is the JAX optimizer, and look at the memory GPU usage using TensorBoard or other NVIDIA Nsight tools, where you can sort of try and basically use the GPU as much as possible so that you get faster. All of this is basically for speed. All of this to get faster speed. Anyway, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. There's my Telegram, there's my Twitter. Also check out homedao.live, Oxford Blockchain Sock, and BitDAO Official, and Sosu House. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Eto, for this very detailed introduction, and also I guess it's super hardcore, especially for non-technical guys like me. So I highly doubt that I can ask any valuable questions to you, but it looks definitely super cool. I know that you just mentioned you can work with auditing firm, or you can be implemented into the AI model. But would love to know a bit more about in the future how the accelerator EVM can be used in a more larger scale of the commercialized events or activities, and also would love to know how do you plan to generate revenue or your business model in the future.
Yeah, so this is something that I've started working on already in the background with a team of a few Oxford students who are machine learning experts. So on the area of commercialization, this can really accelerate the rate of backtesting and unit testing, as well as just lower the barrier for general testing. So what it might look like, right, is you would be a small contract developer, and we will develop a B2B SaaS where it just looks at your code, right? You might say, I don't know, you might have a button that says check code, right? And you would click on that button, and it will run these automated tests on this tiny accelerated EVM in the backend. And it will run a bunch of tests, and it will be able to run it much, much faster than the current state of the art is able to run it at, right? Because of the parallelization ability of the GPU. And so you basically, increase the probability. You lower the barrier for like smart contract testing, since a lot of it can be automated, and yeah, you just you build a more safer Web3 because like all the contracts can be audited without having these human professionals with like, you know, who are like really expensive to hire. Instead, you can just let an automated tool run it. And this just speeds up all the automation tools, and so they become more and more effective. In terms of, yeah, like commercialization, it's just a B2B SaaS. There's lots of, you know, literature on like how to commercialize B2B SaaS. Yeah, I hope that answered your question. Wait, maybe that was the second part to your question? Sorry if I...
Yeah, it definitely makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I don't have more questions, but very exciting to see you are building this project, and very looking forward to see like in the future how it goes.
Yeah, thank you very much.